My mother-in-law secretly listed our house for sale while we were on vacation, but she didn't know about our security system. I was sitting in a cafe in Rome, enjoying the best cappuccino of my life, when my phone buzzed with a motion alert from our security system. I almost ignored it. Probably just the neighbor's cat again. But something made me check. There on my screen was my mother-in-law, Diane, standing in my bedroom with a woman I'd never seen before, gesturing at my closet like she was Vanna White presenting prizes on Wheel of Fortune. "The buyers will be here at 3 p.m., Diane said clearly, the audio crisp through our new system. "They're in Europe, won't be back for weeks." The stranger, who I realized must be a realtor based on her blazer and tablet, nodded enthusiastically. "This is a gorgeous primary suite. Original hardwood, great natural light. This will sell fast at the price point we discussed." I nearly dropped my phone into my coffee. My husband Marcus was deep in conversation with our tour guide about the Colosseum's architecture. I grabbed his arm so hard he yelped. "What's wrong?" he asked, then saw my face. "Sophie, you look like you've seen a ghost." I handed him my phone wordlessly. The blood drained from his face as he watched his mother pull our wedding photo off the nightstand and toss it into a box labeled "Donate." "Maybe there's an explanation," he said weakly, but even he didn't believe it. The explanation, unfortunately, was exactly what it looked like. We'd been planning this trip to Italy for 2 years. Marcus had just made partner at his firm. I'd gotten promoted to creative director at the agency, and we'd finally saved enough to take 3 weeks off. It was supposed to be our dream vacation, a celebration of everything we'd accomplished. Diane had been suspiciously supportive when we told her about the trip. "You two work so hard," she'd said, patting Marcus's cheek. "You deserve a break." That should have been my first red flag. Diane never thought I deserved anything. From the moment Marcus introduced me 5 years ago, Diane had made it clear I wasn't what she'd envisioned for her precious son. I was too career-focused, too independent, too modern. She'd actually used those words. "Marcus needs a woman who understands that family comes first," she told me at our engagement party, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Not someone who thinks a PowerPoint presentation is more important than making a home." The fact that Marcus and I had bought our house together, with my salary covering 60% of the down payment, meant nothing to her. In Diane's mind, it was Marcus's house that I happened to live in. Now, watching her on my phone screen as she directed the realtor through our home, I realized she'd actually convinced herself of that lie. I pulled up the security app's full interface. We'd installed the system 3 months ago after a series of break-ins in the neighborhood. 8 cameras, motion sensors, audio recording, cloud storage, the works. Diane knew about the doorbell camera but nothing else. We'd never told her about the interior cameras because, honestly, we never thought we'd need protection from family. "Look at this," I told Marcus, pulling up the recorded footage from earlier that morning. There was Diane, letting herself in with the spare key we'd stupidly let her keep for emergencies. She'd brought boxes, tape, markers. She'd come prepared. We watched in horror as she systematically went through our house, packing our belongings with brutal efficiency. My books, garage sale. Marcus's gaming console, trash. Our kitchen appliances, keep for Diane. "She's stealing our KitchenAid mixer," I said, my voice hollow. "I bought that with my first bonus." Marcus was already on his phone, booking flights home. "We're leaving. Now." "No," I said, an idea forming. "We're not." He looked at me like I'd lost my mind. "Your mother thinks we're gone for 3 weeks. She's showing the house at 3 p.m. today." I checked my watch, calculating time zones. "That's in 6 hours. Let's see who these buyers really are." Marcus hesitated. "Sophie. She's trying to sell our house." "Our house, Marcus. Without our knowledge or consent. That's fraud. That's a felony." I pulled up our realtor friend Kendra's number. "But first, let's make sure she doesn't succeed." The next few hours were a blur of phone calls and frantic planning. Kendra was horrified when I explained the situation and immediately sprang into action. She knew the realtor Diane was working with, a woman named Beverly who operated on the shady side of the business, known for quick cash deals and looking the other way on paperwork. "I'll handle it," Kendra promised. "Keep watching those cameras." At 2:47 p.m. Rome time, I had my laptop open at our hotel, streaming our security feeds while Marcus paced behind me. Diane was back at our house, arranging fresh flowers on our dining room table. She'd changed into an elegant dress and was directing someone off camera. No, push the couch against the wall." It makes the room look bigger, she commanded. Beverly the realtor appeared, looking stressed. Mrs. Wright, I really think we should wait until the sellers return. This is highly irregular. Nonsense, Diane waved her off. I have power of attorney. I showed you the papers. My jaw dropped. Marcus leaned over my shoulder. She forged power of attorney documents. At exactly 3 p.m., our doorbell rang. Diane smoothed her hair and opened the door with a practiced smile. But instead of the eager buyers she was expecting, 3 people in suits stood on our porch. One held up a badge. Mrs. Diane Wright? I'm Detective Morrison with the Real Estate Fraud Division. We received a report of an attempted illegal sale of this property. The color drained from Diane's face. There must be some mistake. I'm the owner. Well, my son is. But I have power of attorney. May we see those documents? The detective asked politely. Diane fumbled through her purse, pulling out papers with shaking hands. The detective examined them for about 3 seconds. These are notarized with tomorrow's date. That must be a typo, Diane stammered. A typo that happens to be the exact date the actual homeowners returned from Europe. The detective's tone was skeptical. We'll need you to come with us to answer some questions. Who are these people? Diane shrieked at Beverly. This isn't what we agreed. You said you had cash buyers. Beverly was already backing toward the door. I don't know anything about this. She told me she owned the house. I'm just the realtor. You lying witch. Diane lunged at her. You set me up. The detective stepped between them. Actually, the homeowner set this up. She's been watching on security cameras this entire time. Diane's face went from red to white to green. She looked directly at one of our hidden cameras, her mouth opening and closing like a fish. Marcus took the laptop and switched to the two-way audio. Hi, Mom. The sound that came out of Diane's mouth was inhuman. How could you? She screamed at the camera. I'm your mother. And that's our house, Marcus said firmly. Not yours to sell. The detective cleared his throat. Mr. and Mrs. Wright have agreed not to press charges if you return all keys, never attempt to contact them again, and sign this agreement acknowledging your attempted fraud. This is entrapment. Diane wailed. They tricked me. No. You broke into their house and attempted to sell it. They simply documented your crime. The detective held out the agreement. I'd sign it if I were you. The alternative is arrest and prosecution. Through the camera, we watched Diane's transformation from entitled matriarch to cornered animal. Her perfectly styled hair was now wild, her elegant dress wrinkled from her attempted attack on Beverly. She looked around our home, the home she'd tried to steal, like she was seeing it for the first time. I was doing this for Marcus, she said desperately to the camera. That house is too big for just 2 people. You should be starting a family, not playing house like children. We are a family, Marcus said. Sophie and I. Just not the kind you wanted. Diane signed the agreement with shaking hands. The detective took her keys. As they escorted her out, she turned back one more time. She's poisoned you against me, she told the camera. That woman has ruined you. No, Mom, Marcus said quietly. You ruined yourself. The feed showed them leaving, Diane still protesting as they led her to the unmarked car. Not under arrest, but certainly under watch. Beverly had already fled, probably to remove our listing from whatever black market real estate site she'd posted it on. Kendra appeared on camera next, walking through our house with her phone out, documenting everything. It's all here, she told us. Some stuff's been moved, but nothing's missing yet. I'll get my cleaning crew over here tomorrow to put everything back. We decided to finish our vacation. We'd earned it, and honestly, what better revenge than enjoying Rome while Diane dealt with the legal aftermath of her scheme? But the real confrontation came 3 weeks later, after we returned home. Marcus's entire family had gathered at his aunt's house for his cousin's birthday. We weren't planning to go, but his sister Elena called begging us to come. Please, she said. Mom's been telling everyone you falsely accused her of trying to sell your house. She's playing the victim. People need to know the truth. So we went, and we brought evidence. The party stopped when we walked in. Diane, holding court by the fireplace with a glass of wine, actually dropped her glass when she saw us. How dare you show your faces here, she hissed. How dare you try to sell our house, I replied calmly. The room went silent. Marcus pulled out his tablet. Would anyone like to see the security footage of Mom breaking into our house, packing our belongings, and meeting with a realtor? His uncle Robert stepped forward. Is this real? We played the video. All of it. Diane packing our things. Diane with the forged papers. Diane screaming at the detective. The entire room watched in stunned silence as their matriarch was exposed as a criminal. "Mom," Elena whispered, "you actually tried to sell their house. They don't deserve it." Diane exploded. She, pointing at me, turned him against his family, against having children, against everything I raised him to be. "I became a partner at a law firm," Marcus said quietly. "I married a brilliant woman who loves me. We own a beautiful home that we bought with our own money. How exactly is that against what you raised me to be? You were supposed to marry Jennifer." Diane screamed, naming Marcus's high school girlfriend. "She would have given me grandchildren. She would have let me be part of your life." "Jennifer is married to a woman now, Mom," Elena said dryly. "So that wouldn't have worked out how you planned either." The room erupted in nervous laughter. Diane looked around wildly, realizing she'd lost her audience, her credibility, her control. "You'll regret this," she told us, gathering her purse with shaking hands. "When you're old and alone with no children, no family, you'll regret choosing her over me." Marcus took my hand. "No, Mom. The only thing I regret is not choosing her sooner." Diane left the party in tears. We stayed, and for the first time, Marcus's extended family actually talked to me. Really talked, not the polite surface conversation we'd had for years. His aunt pulled me aside. "I always wondered why Diane was so hostile to you. Now I understand. You weren't controllable." That was 6 months ago. Diane has honored the agreement. No contact, no attempts to interfere with our lives. We changed our locks, upgraded our security system, and Marcus started therapy to deal with 40 years of his mother's manipulation. Last week, we got a letter from Elena. Diane had moved to Florida to live with her sister, telling everyone she needed a fresh start after the misunderstanding. She was still playing the victim, but nobody was buying it anymore. "The house feels different now," Marcus told me last night as we cooked dinner together in our crime scene-turned home. "Lighter somehow." I knew what he meant. Diane's absence wasn't just physical. It was the removal of a dark cloud that had hung over our marriage from the beginning. The woman who'd tried to steal our house had inadvertently given us something priceless: freedom. The security system is still there, still recording. But now it's just for actual emergencies, not family invasions. And the spare key? We gave it to my sister, who lives 3 hours away and would never dream of using it without permission. Because that's what normal families do. They respect boundaries. They honor privacy. They don't try to sell your house while you're having cappuccino in Rome. Sometimes I replay that footage of Diane seeing the detectives instead of buyers. The shock on her face, the dawning realization that her scheme had failed, that she'd been caught. "Who are these people?" she'd shrieked. They were justice, Diane. They were consequences. They were the universe telling you that you can't just take what isn't yours, even if you think you deserve it. And they were exactly who needed to show up at our door that day.